History made also on the diamond this year by a couple of guys that are proven to be all-time greats now that we're getting to watch in Major League Baseball, Jason. We had the awards given out last night. We had done the Cy Youngs yesterday. AL and NL MVP came out. Unsurprisingly, on the National League side, Shohei Ohtani wins his 4th MVP unanimously on that side. It was much closer in the AL as we expected, though. Aaron Judge narrowly edging out Cal Raleigh in his 60-plus home run season as a switch-hitting catcher for the Seattle Mariners. Had you felt strongly about that AL MVP one way or the other between Judge and Cal Raleigh? Who should have gotten that award? Did they get this right?
Well, here's the crazy thing is that if 2 voters would have flipped their vote to first and second, if they would have flipped the vote, we would have ended up with a tie. And I know everybody hates ties. I don't in this situation. I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Judge, but when you tell the story of this season, particularly for the next 10 years, it's going to be about the big dumper, right? Like the number of times people this year flocked just to see what Cal Raleigh was going to do. And the Mariners became one of the best stories in sports, simply behind his power, his ability, what he was accomplishing. It stands out because of his position, because of the switch hitter, because of the market, because of what it meant to see. Like all of these things are true. And so I hear people say, well, the only reason that he didn't win it is because he doesn't wear the pinstripes. I think that's oversimplification. I do not believe that the voters in the MVP race were sitting here saying, well, I must take a Yankee. I don't think it's that simple. I just think you had 2 really deserving people and a strong argument in advanced analytics for Aaron Judge, a strong argument in things like WAR, OPS. But how many people are going to tell the story of this season in 20 years saying, oh, but check out the WAR of Aaron Judge? Like, so it's just hard, Mike. 2 deserving players, obviously. But to me, the story of this season from the AL side will always be what the big dumper did. And I wish that there was a way to recognize that in the history books as well.
This really was a situation tailor-made for the Mean Girls, split the crown up between the 2 of these guys, because I'm with you. Cal Raleigh, because of how fresh and rejuvenated it was, we heard from guys all year long the difficulty, both physically and mentally, of going out there and playing catcher and having to manage your pitching staff and having to go through the physical toll of that as a defensive position, combined with what he's doing as the plate is otherworldly. But on the same other side, Aaron Judge won his first batting title. Like, did that in conjunction with everything we've seen from him, slugging, hitting the ball out of the park. It's been incredible to watch what he's done, especially knowing Aaron Judge got to all this a little bit later age-wise in a way that people wondered how it would work. He's now tied for the most MVPs by a Yankee in that franchise's history and went from just one of the best players of his time to now in that conversation for one of the best of all time. But Jason, that was kind of what I was thinking about on the other side. Like, Aaron Judge is going to have his place in Monument Park. He is going to be one of the most storied Yankees. He's still got to get the hardware in the postseason that Shohei now has. But you look on the other side, Shohei Ohtani is now the first player in Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, or the NHL in history of any of those leagues to win 2 championships and 2 MVPs with his first 2 team seasons with a team. And the year after, by the way, Shohei Ohtani won the MVP where he couldn't pitch and instead decided to enter into unprecedented territory in terms of stolen base and home run production for a player. The way and the many facets of Shohei Ohtani, we're watching, I believe, what will end up being the greatest baseball player of all time. He's got the second most MVPs, trailing only Barry Bonds with 7. And we know right, wrong, or indifferent the way that people in baseball view Barry Bonds because of that era. And so I think what we're talking about now with the way he's been able to impact games and now to do it in Los Angeles and to have a chance to do that in October, going into November, this is a guy that's going to leave with that mark attached to him.
Which is why when people say that the Dodgers are bad for baseball, I laugh, Mike, because Shohei Ohtani did great things before he got to the Dodgers and nobody watched. And we can talk all day long about whether or not he was just wasted by the Angels. We can talk about that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, everybody flocked. I mean, the World Series was such a phenomenon. The opportunity to see Game 7 and see Shohei in a World Series with the Dodgers is what people flock to. So, like, there's this part of me that sits there, and I hear the argument all the time. Well, the Dodgers are killing baseball because all they do is spend money, and all they're doing is that they're building a team nobody else can build, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Or maybe weirdly, they're actually the part of the thing that has saved baseball over the course of the last few years. Because if you are even a casual baseball fan, the fact that you have the opportunity to watch Shohei, he was like a gateway drug. He introduced you to Mookie Betts. He introduced you to Freddie Freeman. He introduced you to this lineup as a whole. Like, all of a sudden, you just got experience to, like, all of these baseball things. The Game 7 that we just saw in the World Series, I would argue, was the single greatest Game 7 in the history of sports. I've never seen an ending like that, ever. And we watched it in part because we were watching to see what Shohei would do. So this magical moment and this run of Shohei isn't just about what it means for him. It isn't just about we're watching the single greatest baseball player of all time. We're actually finally watching somebody that, like Superman, can lift an entire sport and say, pay attention to what we're doing right now.
Shohei Ohtani as a gateway drug is going to sustain me for a long time.